Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Transform Yourself. My name's Helen, and I'm going to be taking this journey with you every 2 weeks on your favourite podcast platform. Happy New Year to you. Happy 2025. This is a really nice way to begin the year by looking at things that you can do to transform yourself and live your best life and be the best version of yourself that you can be. As we progress through the episodes, you're going to learn a lot about coping mechanisms to help you with things that cause you stress or difficulties, what to do, and some lovely trances, some lovely hypnoses to help you relax that you can use one time or you can use multiple times. Every time I do a podcast, there'll be a different hypnosis for you at the end. So again, welcome. Have you got some New Year's resolutions planned? Well, actually, my resolution started earlier. I decided to have a holiday. I haven't had a holiday in 3 years, and on the 8th of January, I'm going to Egypt. Very excited, have been spending months preparing and enjoying the idea of being on a boat on the Nile, swimming in the Red Sea, and also seeing all of the wonderful sights on this bucket list trip. And I'm very excited about it because I'm only a week away from this amazing trip. What are your New Year's resolutions? Hopefully some of these episodes will help you with your New Year's resolutions in terms of maintaining them and sticking to them and moving towards them. This first episode is going to focus upon the brain, what's going on in your brain, how your brain works, and how hypnotherapy is a form of brain training to help you develop habits and coping strategies that are healthier for you than the ones that perhaps you currently have. If I were doing this in my clinic in Whitstable, I'd be drawing things for you on my iPad, but unfortunately you're going to have to imagine this in your head. So I want you to think of your brain as a house. It's got an upstairs and it's got a downstairs. The upstairs part of your brain is the conscious part of your brain. It's the part that holds your personality, and it's the part that interacts with the world. And it also houses what we call your intellectual brain, which has evolved over time and allows you to make healthy choices. It allows you to problem solve. It allows you to drive cars, operate machinery, browse through your phone, paint pictures, write stories, and be creative. So when we operate from this part of the brain, we generally get things right in life because we always come up with a proper assessment of the situation, and this part of our brain is generally very positive. So that's the upstairs. The downstairs is the original primitive part of our brain, and it has 3 separate components to it. In the middle is the amygdala, which is your fight, flight, freeze part of the brain. To the left of it is the hypothalamus, which regulates all the chemicals in your body and your mind. And then finally, to the right of the amygdala, you've got a sausage shape called the hippocampus, and that's one of my favourite words, and I love that it's also shaped like a sausage. And this is your memory bank. It's your library of memories, behaviour patterns and habits, whether they're useful to you or not. So to see how the primitive brain works is to imagine that you walk down the street and bump into something like a polar bear. So you put yourself in a life and death situation. Your amygdala needs to know what to do, but it doesn't think, it only responds and reacts. So it goes to your library, to your hippocampus, and says, what did we do last time we were in a life-threatening situation with a wild beast? And so it will look in your file system and find the right document that says you ran like hell. So in order to enact this, it asks the hypothalamus to release some adrenaline. When adrenaline is released, your heart rate increases, your stomach churns, you start to sweat, and then you'd be off like a shot. Now, under the circumstances, that's an entirely appropriate response. You want this to happen. But unfortunately, because the primitive brain has not evolved, it doesn't understand the nuances of modern life. So you might find yourself reacting in the same way if your bank statement comes in and you're overdrawn, or you've got an interview ahead of you, which is not very helpful because the reactions are the same as if you've seen a polar bear. So we have to try and calm the amygdala and move from the primitive brain to the intellectual brain where we can make appropriate choices and feel happier. And so we can do this by distracting the amygdala. I always describe the amygdala as like a 5-year-old having a tantrum. There's no reasoning with a 5-year-old who's in the throes of a temper tantrum. But what you can do is distract. And this is what we do with the amygdala. Instead of trying to stop doing something, we distract by doing something else. There are things that you can do to distract your amygdala, very simple things like remembering a happy memory, listening to some music that makes you happy, looking at old photographs, listening to some comedy, watching your favourite little YouTube clip, something like that that makes you laugh. All of these things are going to move you from the downstairs, the primitive brain, to the upstairs, the intellectual brain. It's going to stop the release of adrenaline and produce serotonin, the release of serotonin, which is going to make you feel like you can cope. That's what we do with the amygdala. Downstairs brain works from the parameters of anger, depression, anxiety, or a combination of all three. And all of your negative thinking gets transformed into anxiety, and that's held in what we call a stress bucket. And we put things into our stress bucket every day. It might be that we burned our toast, stubbed our toe on the door frame, got stuck in traffic, had a flat tyre. All of these things are added to our stress bucket. And at the end of the day, when we go to sleep, we empty our stress bucket. We empty it in the REM sleep cycle, the rapid eye movement cycle, which is also our dream state. And if everything's working well, we wake up with an empty bucket and we feel really refreshed. And the way that works is that any negatives that we've had, any stressors that have caused us anxiety, will be moved from the downstairs of our brain, where it's an emotional memory, to the upstairs of our brain, where all of the sting of it is taken out. And we might wake up and think, oh, I don't know why that bothered me so much, because we've processed it and it's no longer emotional and it's no longer negative. Unfortunately, though, REM sleep is restricted to about 15 to 20% of our sleep habits. So if you've got a lot in your stress bucket, you're not going to empty it in one night's sleep. And that would mean that you wake up not feeling refreshed, feeling quite rubbish actually, quite negative, tired, and not really ready to face the day. And if this happens over time, we're still putting things into our stress bucket and we end up in a bit of a negative cycle. So the first thing I do as a hypnotherapist is to help my clients empty their stress bucket every night. I give them a recording to listen to. It's music, my voice, positive messages, and this is what you're going to get at the end of every episode. So you can listen to it during the day as long as you're not driving a car, operating machinery, or you can listen to it at bedtime and it will help you sleep. The second thing I do for my client is to make sure that they're not putting so much into their stress buckets at all. We do this by focusing on things that distract the amygdala. Because if you let your amygdala in the downstairs of your brain take over, it will see things from the worst possible scenario because it is our survival centre and it does have that purpose. But because it's not evolved, it sees everything as a threat, every stressor as a life and death threat. So in order to distract it, we focus on what I call the 4 Ps: positive action, positive interaction, positive purpose, and positive thinking. Positive action might be some kind of self-care, something that you do to make yourself feel good, whether that be taking a bath, going for a run or a bike ride, reading a book, making a cup of tea, thinking about happy times, looking forward to your holiday in Egypt. All of these things are going to release serotonin, which is our coping chemical, and it's going to move us into our intellectual brain, and we're going to feel like we can cope with whatever life throws at us. So that's positive action. Positive interaction is just what it sounds like. It's having positive conversations or interactions with people that don't focus on all the stresses. So it's not where we have a good old moan. It's where we think about positive things. It might be as simple as smiling at someone on the street or having a quick chat with the person who checks out your groceries at the supermarket. Any kind of interaction that's positive is going to help you release serotonin, which is indeed then going to move you into your upstairs brain, and it's going to make you feel like you can cope. It's not euphoria, it's not dopamine, which is a short-lived feeling of euphoria. It's just a nice, calm feeling that you can get on with things and cope, and life is going to be okay for you. Positive purpose is important because we all need a purpose in our lives. And I do see a few clients who are retired or have just gone into retirement. And without purpose, the purpose of work, which is often our purpose as adults, they struggle with anxiety because their purpose has gone. And so it's redefining purpose and re-evaluating purpose and finding ways to have meaningful existence outside of work. And then finally, positive thinking, which is turning those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. What if I fail my exams? What if you don't? I really don't like going into groups of people that I don't know. It's going to be okay. Everybody feels the same. And as long as I know what to say and I'll think of something in advance, I'm going to be fine. These kinds of thoughts you can transform from negative to positive. If they're negative, you're going to put them in your stress bucket. If they're positive, you're not putting anything in your stress bucket, but you are releasing serotonin. Simply transforming your thoughts and looking for the positives. One of the things I ask my clients to do every day is to make a note, either on their phones or in a little notebook, of 2 or 3 things that have been good that day. Some days that's very easy to do. Some days it's a bit more challenging. But what I'm asking my clients to do is to look for the good things, because there are always good things to see, even on the darkest days. And those good things give you a little bit of reprieve, a little bit of a shining moment in what could be a very challenging time in your life. It's never all bad. We look for the good things, and then hopefully that becomes a habit. So when life does get very challenging, you're still looking for the good things and recognizing that you will get through it, it will pass, and that you can cope. Now, as part of my therapy, I use hypnosis or trance. This means the same thing. And some people have some strange ideas. They've watched too much television, perhaps, and seen stage hypnotists or hypnotists on television that have people go into what appears like a state of unconsciousness and then have them doing silly things like flapping their arms like a chicken. I don't do that, you'll be glad to hear. Trance or hypnosis is actually a very normal thing that we all do every day. If you've ever had a daydream where your mind has just wandered off to think about something else, or you've zoned out in a meeting and you're thinking about what you're going to have for dinner or what you need to do tomorrow, you've been in trance. Many of us do it when we're driving. If we're going somewhere that's a longer distance, our mind will wander off and we realise that we've travelled, 5 or 10 miles and don't even realise it. That's trance. Or hypnosis, self-hypnosis, because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I can't force anybody to go into hypnosis if they don't want to. And the value of hypnosis as a clinical practice is that what we want to happen is for the person to be relaxed so that their conscious mind, the upstairs part of their brain, just wanders off and doesn't need to stay focused on what I'm saying. And the downstairs, the primitive brain, feels safe and doesn't need to have a guard at the gate or have a risk assessment because everything's safe. So it clocks off and leaves you with a very old part of the brain to work with, which is the subconscious. And the subconscious is the part of our brain that knows what to do and knows how to do it. It's responsible for our automatic behaviours, like which sock we put on first, or our morning rituals, what we do first and how things are done. And what it does during trance, it rehearses what you want. It has to know what you want, not what you don't want. And during trance, it will rehearse the processes of getting you where you want to be in your life. And so you might wake up or come around from the trance and have a eureka moment where you think, yeah, this is what I need to do. Or it may be days later and you realise, I know what I need to do now, because your subconscious works in the background all the time. But all it needs is to know what you want. We focus on the positives. We look to the future, where you want to be and how you're going to get there. And we take very small steps. The reason that we take small steps is because the brain likes them better. It's able to manage them better. And this is where often New Year's resolutions fail. We decide we want to lose a certain amount of weight, or we want to stop smoking, or we want to exercise more. And we jump into this with both feet and discover after maybe 3 weeks it's not working and we give up. That's because we've taken 2 big steps in the first place. We go from 0 to 100 and then realise that we can't sustain it. What I advise, if you have your resolutions set out, take small steps towards your goals, what I call no big deal steps, the steps that are easy for you to do and you're not going to break a sweat and you're going to find it very easy to take one very small step. And then that very small step accumulates into bigger steps if you keep taking them. Each small step works towards bigger wins. Don't let it be all or nothing. Take small steps towards your goals and you'll find it much easier to manage because your brain will be on board with you and will be ready to help you along the way. Trance or hypnosis is very relaxing. It's very safe. You're not asleep. You're not unconscious. You're simply in a deep state of relaxation that makes you feel really good. Some people go into trance very deeply. Some people don't. I don't go into trance very deeply, and sometimes I wish that I would. But it doesn't affect the quality of the hypnosis, and it doesn't affect the effectiveness of trance. It's just that everybody's different. When you do trance, you can do it your way. There's no right way of doing it. If at the moment you're not in a position to lie down and close your eyes, that's okay. You don't have to do either of those things. You can sit in a chair. You can be doodling while you're listening and still be in trance. You can be reading a book. You could be doing the washing up or cooking, and you'd still go into trance. You don't have to do what you see traditionally is lying on the couch, eyes closed, absolutely still. Because as you know now, we can go into trance when we're in the middle of a crowd, in the middle of noise, in the middle of a meeting, while we're operating a car and still be totally in control of the car. You can do trance in all sorts of ways. If you have ADHD, having something to focus on, like a fidget toy or Play-Doh or crossword. All of these things can be useful because they engage your conscious mind and get it out of the way so that we can access your subconscious mind. When you settle down for this trance that's coming up, do it your way and try different things if you're not sure what's going to work for you. All of the messages are positive, and there is nothing that's going to conflict with your moral code. If it did, you wouldn't do it. If I said to you in the middle of trance that you're going to rob a bank, unless you're that way inclined, you're not going to do it. So I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. But if you want to listen to it with your conscious mind and hear everything first, that's totally okay. You can definitely do that. But you can also use it then as a tool for relaxation. The trance that we're going to do today is what I call a body scan. It's a way to relax very consciously your muscles and all the parts of your body that hold stress. And once we've done the body scan, I'll offer you some positive messages for rest and for sleep. Because if you're not sleeping well, then you're not going to cope because your bucket is not going to be emptied. It's going to be about 20 minutes long. If you don't have time to listen to it now, you can always pause this podcast and listen to it later. But if you do, if you're on lunch break or you're already at the end of your day, this is a nice way to recharge your batteries, to get you to a very relaxed point where you feel a lot better and you can either carry on with your day or you can restfully go to sleep. What I suggest you do now is to pause the podcast and get yourself ready. If you are going to lie down, a blanket can be nice because if you're very still, your body temperature can drop. And also it's a little bit of security. I like to use a weighted blanket. But if not, just sit yourself down calmly, get your book or your crossword if you're going to use it, and get ready for the trance, which is going to start in just a moment. Settle yourself down. Listen to all the noises around you. Maybe it's quiet, or maybe you can hear a clock ticking, or a car, or maybe there's some murmurs in the background of television or people mulling around outside. These are going to become part of your experience, and rather than disturbing you, they're going to help you relax even more and go more deeply into hypnosis. Settle yourself where you are, whether you're sitting or whether you're lying. Adjust yourself so that you're really comfortable. Your head is relaxed. Your eyes might be open, they might be closed. It's perfectly okay either way. Nothing will interfere with the quality of your trance. So just relax and sit and settle yourself in to the space that you're going to be in for the next 20 minutes or so. And we're going to scan your muscles one at a time, starting with your head. So I want you to imagine that all of the stress and the tension in your scalp is slowly relaxing. You can feel it drifting away from you. You can feel your scalp heavy and hard and gradually relax and loosen as you let go of all the tensions of the day. And that's going to be also round and about your ears. Feel all of that tension round and about your ears and let it go, just let it go. You might be taking some deep breaths. You might be breathing in and then pushing the air out. And with the pushes, you're pushing out all that tension as well. You can feel the tension in your forehead, and maybe you can feel it if you scrunch up your forehead and make a a disgruntled face, and then just let it relax. Let all of those muscles loosen and let go, and feel all of that relaxation in your forehead, and also in your scalp and round your ears, and at the back of your skull. Right at the back of your skull, tense it up and imagine it loosening, and all of that tension leaving your body, leaving that part of your head. We carry an awful lot of tension in our jaw, and often we don't even realize that the tension is there. So clench your teeth really hard, then let it go. Unclench and let all of that tension go. You can also stroke your jawline, and that helps release the tension as well. Let your tongue just flop in your mouth so that there's no tension there at all. Just let it flop. Let the tension in your jaw just disappear so that your whole face just relaxes beautifully. Your neck is next. Often we carry tension in our neck as well. Feel the tension in your neck and tighten up your neck. And then release it slowly, letting it all go and allowing you just to have a really relaxed neck. So now your head might feel a little bit lighter. It might feel like it's floating on a cloud on the pillow. Or it might feel really heavy because all of that tension holding it up is gone, and it's allowing you just to flop heavily onto the pillow. Either way is fine. Whatever you feel in your relaxation is fine. And so now we come to your shoulders. Bring your shoulders up to your ears. Tighten them up. And then loosen them gently, letting go all of that tightness in your shoulders. Again, feeling lighter perhaps, or feeling heavier, depending on the way you experience your relaxation. However it is, it's going to feel so good. And now we go to your back, the top of your back, where your shoulder blades are. Scrunch your shoulder blades together. Hold them for a moment and then release them. And again, feel all that pressure, all that tension disappearing. And there's nothing left but relaxation. And in this relaxation, you're also feeling serotonin being released from your brain and into your body. And it makes you feel really calm, and it makes you feel like you can cope with whatever tomorrow is going to bring. Because today's over, you can let it all go. And with the relaxation, you're letting go of all of the stresses of today and preparing yourself for tomorrow. So the serotonin is helping you remember that today is done with, and you can let it all go and be ready for tomorrow, relaxed and refreshed. So we go to your mid-back, and your mid-back, you can't really tense it, but you can feel the release and the relaxation coming from your mid-back, down from your mid-back into your hips and your bum, because those are other places where we carry tension. So scrunch up your bum cheeks really tight, and then let them go and feel all of that wonderful relaxation just emanating, not just in your bum and your hips, but all through your body. And we do the same with your stomach. On the other side of your body, your stomach. Tighten up your stomach and then let it go. Feel that relaxation the release of the muscles as they just relax and stop trying to hold you up. There's no need to hold you up. And even if you're carrying on with your day, it's okay. They don't need to hold you up right now. And then down your legs, your thighs. Tense the muscles in your thighs and release them. And feel all of that wonderful relaxation coming to your legs as they're no longer needed for this moment. And the same with your calves. Tense up your calves and then let them go. And feel how relaxed you're feeling. And your toes and your feet. Tense up your toes. Let your feet relax. Let everything disengage. There's no need for you to be engaged at this point. And then finally your arms. Tense the muscles in your arms. And then slowly let them go. So now you have no stress. You have no pressure in your body at all. Everything's disengaged for you. You are in a state of total relaxation. And this gives your brain a chance to process the day during sleep so that you sleep well and empty that bucket every night without the need for any tension in any part of your body. If your body needs a little extra help to relax, maybe it's your shoulders, maybe it's your jaw, maybe it's your bum, do it again. And think of the relaxation going through you. Perhaps it's like a little brush that's sweeping out all of the tension in your body so that there's nothing left. The only thing that's left is total relaxation. So you're thinking about sleep even if this is the middle of the day for you, because sleep begins when we wake up, so we have to think positively about our sleep. So imagine your head on the pillow with everything relaxed, your head relaxed, your jaw, your tongue is just flopping in your mouth, and you feel absolutely boneless, like your backbone has disappeared and you're just like a big floppy thing. And that feels floppy. It feels floppy all the way down your body, into your neck and your shoulders, your arms, your back, your chest, your stomach, your bum, your legs, your feet, your toes. You're just floppy. And in that floppiness, you just relax and let your mind drift away so that you can be in a place where you can process all of the day and sleep and have dreams that are pleasant and productive so that you can wake up in a really wonderful space where your bucket is emptied and you feel amazing and you're ready to face the day, and there's no stress in your body when you wake up because you've slept really well and all of that tension you got rid of the night before and it's not come back. So you wake up feeling refreshed, with everything refreshed and relaxed. And so you walk downstairs with no pain or soreness in your muscles. And you eat breakfast and there's no pain in your jaw because you've not been grinding or tensing your muscles in the night. Everything's totally relaxed. And the more you do this, the more your body will develop this habit of being relaxed in the evening or looking forward to the relaxation even in the middle of the day. And because of that, all of those stressful things will be emptied out of your bucket, and you won't even be carrying them in your muscles because they'll all be gone. And any habits that are left over from stressful times will be gone because you'll be learning when to feel the stress in your body and when to release it. What it feels like when you've got stress or tension in your neck, in your shoulders, in your jaw, in your mouth, your tongue, and what it feels like to release that and to relax. So you know what it feels like. You know it feels wonderful. You know that you feel floppy, and that's going to put you into the best state possible for having good night's sleep, for emptying your stress bucket through the REM cycle, the dreams if you have dreams, so that you can wake up refreshed with an empty stress bucket and ready to start the day afresh with nothing left in your bucket. You're also signaling to your subconscious that you want to be relaxed in bed and that you want to sleep well and that you want to empty your stress bucket. And once your subconscious knows what you want, it will help you work towards it. So during your hypnosis, during your trance, your subconscious will be working in the background to help you relax, to help you think positively about your bedtime, and to shake off the day with positive action, positive interaction, positive purpose, and positive thinking. So you won't be carrying all of this stress and all of this worry to your bed at night. It will be gone because your subconscious will help you get rid of it. And this recording will help you get rid of it. Because through repetition, you develop new habits. Through consistency, you develop new habits. And the old ones just wither away. So use this recording to help you sleep, to help you relax, to help you let go of the stresses of the day, to help you develop a relaxed state of mind and a relaxed state of being, so that you can be in a totally relaxed space when it's time to rest. And if you are ready to continue the day, you can open your eyes. And if you're not ready to carry on, if this is your bedtime, you can just drift away into a relaxing sleep. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, the first episode of Transform Yourself. It's been wonderful being here with you, and I hope that this has been useful to you. Next time, we're going to look at anxiety and how to manage anxiety. Many of my clients come to see me because they have some kind of anxiety. And so we will tackle that. Look at what happens in your brain. Look at how to cope with it. I'll give you lots of examples of previous clients who have managed it. And then we'll have a hypnosis session or a trance session that will help you with anxiety. Until then, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you very soon.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.